it is, of course, Friday. That means there were a load of brand new movies coming out today on streaming, in the cinema, and this is why I like to get movie critic Van Connor on the show every Friday, to just go through a couple of the movies that are out, giving you an informed choice on what you might want to go and see this weekend. And as I mentioned, it's going to be miserable and wet and rainy and thundery tomorrow, so tomorrow is probably the best day to head out and see something in the cinema. Van Connor, welcome back to the show.
Pleasure as always, Mr. Bull. All good, I hope?
Yes, all good this end. Is it all good your end, though? Have we got some decent movies this week? That's what we're about to find out.
I think the emphasis is on the word decent there. I think decent's fine. I'll go with decent. Decent's all right. Not good, not bad. Decent, we can live with.
Just decent. We're happy with decent. All right. So we're going to talk about Ballerina in a moment, but let's start with Dangerous Animals. So for anyone who has no idea what this movie is about, what would you like to say about it?
So this is a bit of a mixed bag, this one, because it tries to be one thing and then it actually is another. It is a new, for all intents and purposes, Australian set and made horror thriller about a shark tour fisherman type who's also a psychopath who tricks couples into boarding his boat so that he can abduct them and serve them up as sacrifices to sharks, which he seems to worship and want to film. He's played by Jai Courtney. He kidnaps a young touring surfer young woman, and she becomes his next would-be victim. It's up to her to try and escape. So I've got a clip for you. This is from Dangerous Animals. This is Jai Courtney serving up the chum.
Wait!
Oh, how romantic. It's too bad I'm more of a horror fan. Every fisherman loves a good fight. The thing the fish doesn't realise is that once that hook sets, no matter how hard she runs, she's already in the boat. Welcome aboard.
I mean, it sounds good in that, but this does have the potential of being a bit of a sort of cheesy snakes on a plane kind of a movie.
It has the potential, but to be fair, it wants to be the schlock horror that you can hear the tone of in that clip, right? That clip has been specifically edited to make it like a really punchy horror film, like we want to appeal to the teens. This is really going to appeal more to the parents who are looking for something like Dead Calm. Because it's been written as if it's dead calm, but everybody involved in it otherwise, the director, the cast, the production, everything, think they're making a horror movie. And so the two are at completely disparate odds. And the weird part is Jai Courtney is very, very good in horror movie mode. And I say that considering it's Jai Courtney. He's usually terrible. So what you've got is a film that's kind of got a bit of the gore and everything that's going to appeal to the teen horror crowd, but plotting and writing that is going to appeal to much older audiences, I think. It's far too laboured for what it needs to be and gentle and slow at times.
So this would be good for, like, if you've got kids or grandkids and they're going out for the weekend, maybe out for the night. Go and see it while they're out, I mean.
While they're out. I say definitely don't take your grandkids to this. But this would be a cheeky mum and dad's horror flick, I think, this weekend, definitely.
Great. Well, if you want to check out Dangerous Animals yourself, you can, because it's on at the Light in Banbury and View in Oxford. All right, then, our second movie this week, Ballerina.
Yeah, give it its full title, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, because we don't give audiences any credit anymore, it seems. So this takes a supporting character that we saw very briefly in the background, I think, in John Wick 3, and expands that character into a full-blown hero of their own story. She is Eve, a member of the Ruska Roma, the same Roman Assassins Guild, sort of ballet theatre troupe that raised John Wick. And whilst John Wick is the Avenger, she is the Protector. He is the Baba Yaga. She is the Kukumara, as they're called. And she learns to become an assassin so that she can track down the people responsible for murdering her father and orphaning her years previous. And of course, it's whilst in this orphanage and getting her trained that she meets none other than John Wick, who is kind of a low-key supporting player in this film as she sets off on her one-woman quest for revenge. Of course, the people marketing this film really only care about the John Wick of it all, so here's a clip with John Wick in it for some reason.
How do I get out of here?
The front door is unlocked.
No, I mean, how do I start doing what you do?
Looks like you already have. That door will lock sooner than you think. You can still leave. You still have a choice.
Why didn't you leave?
I'm working on it.
So, Van, if anyone's listening now to us talking about Ballerina, but they don't know anything about John Wick whatsoever, does this work as a standalone movie?
I think you'd probably still enjoy it on the same level that I did, which is basically it's very direct to DVD plotting around a series of really next level action sequences and stunt work. Like, it's very much that this is an 87 North movie, the company that kind of started with John Wick, and there's nobody else in the game that kind of does it like them. So it's all about the action and the set pieces and the spectacle. And every time it starts to get too convoluted and you start to think, oh, good Lord, what am I watching? They throw in another massive action sequence to kind of shake you from your melee and get you back on board. So on the most part, it works, but it's certainly not as good as a John Wick movie. That has to be said. It's not as good as Nobody either, which we all forget was already a John Wick spin-off.
So what are some of the other movies that they've done then with all the kind of, the action in and stuff, just so that anyone who doesn't know can kind of come to grips with roughly what you're talking about?
Yes, 87 North also made Atomic Blonde and The Fall Guy that was last year. There was the Christmas movie with David Harbour, Violent Night, in which Santa did a Die Hard. I was a big fan of Santa Did a Die Hard.
Yeah, that was good.
So it's that kind of core group of films which really they center around the John Wick kind of series. It's kind of John Wick is the anchor in the same way that the Conjuring series kind of is to Blumhouse these days and Warner Brothers. But it's a very distinct form of filming these things and staging them. And to be fair, Ana de Armas, although she doesn't get much in the way of characters, a very generic character, she's got the physical chops to pull off all of the sort of, the action stuff, even though she's not as slick and cool as Keanu is. And they remind you of that because they keep bringing him up and keep bringing him back all the way through the film. It's weird.
Who doesn't love a bit of Keanu Reeves, though? Even to this
we
day.
all love Keanu.
We all love him, of course we do. Well, if you want to check out Ballerina, you can. It's out in cinemas from today, and it's showing at Cineworld Witney, View Bicester, or View Oxford, The Light in Banbury, and Odeon George Street as well. So plenty of options for you there. Right, Van, what have we got to look forward to next week? Because there's a big one actually out next week, I think, isn't there?
There is a big one out next week. We have the live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon upon us next week. So, I don't want to say if it's good or bad. I would imagine it's more or less the same from what we've seen so far.
Well, we'll find out on Friday next week when we chat once again. In the meantime, have a lovely weekend, Van, and thank you very much for coming on.
Until the next time, good sir.
Speak to you Friday. Right then, it's BBC Radio Oxford. This is The Cars and Drive.